Actually, I was speaking to the junior traders afterwards when we did the first debrief, and I said, well, you have to debrief this because these rarely happen. But if you debrief it deeply and you come back in 4 years' time, the first thing you've got to survive the next 4 years as a trader in order to reward yourself. So our senior traders were able to make big six-figure days on this US election, but they were able to survive. They were able to grant themselves that optionality to trade these so-called bonus days, bonus events, because they survived in between the cycle. And that's one of the critical parts. So you're always debriefing for the future, so your pattern recall is more effective. You can be more convicted in the execution of your trades. Trust your observation because you debriefed before. But what are you doing to survive? To survive in between. But yeah, it was for me. This was the U.S. elections that I think technology has changed everything. In the sense of that, edge bucket one trading tools of how you go about researching, and again, with these large language models, it's also allowed everyone to become coders because the purpose of these large language models, they're trained on all coding, is that you can start coding in the English language. So imagine if you're a trader that's trained, skillfully trained, you have a curious mindset. And all of a sudden, you can now start back-end coding, create your own predictive models, but you don't need to understand Python, C++, C#, and so forth in the future.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing, going back to the process and the surviving of the game was something that I was talking to some of the guys earlier on.
That week 5 of our career program is, you train all the tools, the skill sets, but how do you go and cast your learning system? Because there's a great quote about, the illiterate of the future are not the people who cannot read. The illiterate of the future are the people who cannot learn.
Right. Yeah.
And so we spent a large part, and that's why the week 5 and 6 of the career program is all that focus on what are effective debriefing systems, because again, effort to reward ratio is how you debrief, what you debrief, so your mind can digest it. So in real time, you can recall effectively your observations of the past. If you don't know how to create, methods in how to observe, because those observations, you need to be able to draw upon them in real time to deploy your trades. And so there's a strategy and a system how you organize and orchestrate your observations of the market, and therefore how you are able to express those observations in real time the next time they come. So that on the week 5 and 6 is your debriefing, and your debriefing covers a multitude of of areas, from data trading, central bank trading, certain flow events, certain tier 1 data that's moving the market, and technical plays and patterns.
Yeah, and we got so much to talk about on debriefs and stuff, but I almost want to handle and really kind of, I'm really trying to push over to the guys on floor too, all the new guys, or the guys that are on the career program, that it's just such a vital thing, because it's really exciting to come in and study the tools, the market profile, and all of that, but to really focus in on almost mastering that craft, that side of things, right? Because that's what's going to help develop.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Right. Let's go on one more on the war stories, and I think we could actually do a whole segment videos moving forward on war stories.
Maybe twice a month. We can have. If those who are watching on YouTube, if this type of format you like it, mention what part you liked in the comments below. We're happy to try and execute these a little bit more regularly, especially the war stories from the floor and what we're seeing happening out of our 130 plus traders that we have in the group.
That heartbeat, that pulse on the floor, right? Amazing, right? So Alex, in all your years, you've experienced many intense moments, I'm sure, right, on the trading floor. Not just the US elections, just so many through the years and throughout your career, which have been so encapsulating. Can you share with us a story, perhaps even maybe the Japan night LPD, where you witnessed how traders responded in real time to market movements? You described it a few days ago as a pulsing organism. Could you expand on that and what you mean by the knowledge virus in these situations?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I get a little bit too flowery with my words, and
I love it.
And but I leave that. I think who's even more flowery is Bogdan, who's the main writer and co-founder of Asymmetrist. And if you he really describes. But speaking about those Japanese elections, now let's rewind back 10 years ago, 12 years ago, where, or a little bit more, where traders were just one market ponies, Bund, Bobble, Schatz, or equity markets. And there's been such a great, and we've done multiple workshops on this, either on our channel or on our webinars that we do for the community, of the evolution of not only the collaboration, but the evolution of being these holistic futures traders who will move between markets, global futures markets that are moving, and the reason why they do that. And what was fascinating, a week before those, the Japanese ruling party, we're going to name a new leader, none of us knew the importance of this election for Japanese assets, and hence some other assets outside that, of a systemic influence. And so all it required was one message sent in our local Teams group from one trader within the firm, sending that message, and all of a sudden, it almost creates this plumbing, this infrastructure, this bricklaying work into other traders saying, oh, that's interesting. And then other traders start researching, and that's what I talk about, that pulsing organism that just starts from a text observation, and that text observation on a Teams chat group then reverberates into verbal conversation within a floor setting. And then now you're electrifying more of that physical embodiment between traders. And then all of a sudden that energy starts rising as conversations become more rich, the research becomes richer, and that's that's why I describe it as a knowledge virus. It starts one, and then as more senior traders pick on it, senior traders are going to have more critical momentum and mass of what's important, not because they've been there. And so then all of a sudden the junior, it dripples down, and then the junior traders feel this is important because the senior traders are looking at it. And then that network effect starts vibrating. And then from not knowing anything from a week before, George Soros used to speak about during the Asian flu crisis in the 90s, how overnight, as he started being a bond vigilante and a currency vigilante on all those, Vietnam, Thailand, all of those Asian currencies that were pegged to the dollar, as he started hunting them down and just, governments having to depeg. He said it would take him 24 hours to become, he had a little model that he could become an expert on that economy in 24 hours. And that's what happens with our traders. Within 24 hours, and with the advent of some of these large language models, how to do research, how who to follow, who's going to release the information, is it going to come out in Japanese? How are you going to trade it if it does come out in Japanese? So all of a sudden, the tactical elements within the floor, the trader starts speaking about. And again, this then dripples down into our career program, into our 6-month coaching program, and it starts from the knowledge of the guys who have skin in the game, who are trading it, who are going to have to debrief. And so all of a sudden, within 1 week, trading those Japanese elections, the guys became specialists. Which leaders will mean what? Who will be voting? What markets they're going to select? Trading the JBL, the Japan 10-year bond on another exchange, the Nikkei, the Japanese yen. And seeing that in action, the most beautiful part of seeing that in action is just seeing, because I love it. I absolutely love when it becomes the knowledge share within the group. And then from that viral knowledge share, then the viral activity of the tactical trade structuring, and then the real-time element of how you're going to be trading these trades.
And I mean, just having, just being on the floor, whether you are, the junior who's coming in doing the career program, all the way up to the ones that, that are live, that are trading, that effect that you said, where how it trickles down. It's like I felt how it was, a year ago, 6 months ago, and how it is now. It's just kind of being able to navigate through all of that and just seeing that value in what you're hearing, what you're seeing, it's incredible. And yeah, just like you, I get so excited when something like that does happen. Or even we had the China stimulus stuff as well.
Yes.
Right. Same sort of thing we had. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it contracts and expands. So as like, theme or technical plays. Sometimes it's a themeless market, but also there's some technical plays, and the traders who are more fluent in the technical structures of the market, all of a sudden their discussions start growing. And where a floor or a team starts disintegrating is when those discussions, those sharing stops happening.